Every day, millions of people wake up chasing success, peace, and breakthrough, but most of them never get it. Why? Because they start their day with the world's noise instead of God's word. Let me tell you something. The very first thing you speak in the morning carries authority. That's why I'm challenging you. Declare this psalm before anything else. Speak it out loud, and you're not just reading words. You're commanding your day, aligning with heaven, and unlocking doors the enemy hoped would stay closed. This isn't theory. It's proven by God's word. When you take authority over the first moments of your day, breakthroughs in your finances, relationships, health, and purpose follow. Don't wait for later. Speak it now. Speak this psalm first thing, and watch the supernatural favor of God shift your entire life today. I want you to hear me carefully today, because this is the kind of truth that can change the trajectory of your life. The very first thing you do when you wake up sets the tone for every single hour that follows. Think about it. Most people wake up, reach for their phone, scroll through social media, check emails, maybe even worry about bills before they say a word to God. And that's exactly why so many people are living stressed, frustrated, and stuck. The first moments of your day are sacred, and what you place there determines what you will experience throughout the day. It's not just a motivational idea, it's spiritual law. Words spoken first thing in the morning carry authority because they shape your mind, your spirit, and your environment. Now imagine waking up and instead of rushing into the chaos of life, you speak life over yourself, you declare favor over your work, you declare provision over your finances, and you declare peace over your relationships. You see, words are seeds. When you plant seeds at the very beginning of your day, you are setting in motion forces that no human eye can see. These seeds grow silently but powerfully. By starting first with God's word, with a declaration, with a psalm, you are literally aligning yourself with the supernatural, setting your day in harmony with God's purposes, and commanding circumstances to bow before your faith. There is a difference between someone who wakes up and reacts to the day and someone who wakes up and speaks life into the day. One is controlled by circumstance. The other is empowered by divine authority. When you declare God's word first, you are not just praying, you are taking authority. You are telling your mind, your spirit, and even the spiritual atmosphere around you, I will not allow chaos to dictate my life. I will walk in favor. I will walk in breakthrough. You are commanding your day before the world has a chance to push you into confusion or compromise. Most people underestimate this principle because they think, it's just morning. I'll get to it later. But listen carefully. Later is often too late. If you start your day with worry, with fear, or with the world's noise, your first words will plant seeds of limitation, stress, and frustration. You are literally programming your subconscious mind with the first thing you speak and the first things you allow into your spirit. This is why speaking a psalm first thing is so powerful. It isn't just about reading words, it's about planting authority. The very first words you declare in the morning have the power to pull blessings towards you, to shift situations in your favor, and to position you for divine encounters. Think about this like a farmer in the field. If he plants the seed in good soil at the right time, it grows. But if he neglects the soil or plants at the wrong time, the harvest is weak, delayed, or lost entirely. Your first words in the morning are your planting time. Your day is your field. The soil is your spirit, your mind, and the unseen spiritual realm around you. What you plant first determines the harvest you will reap. If you begin with God's word, you are planting seeds that produce favor, provision, breakthrough, and peace. If you begin with fear, worry, or distraction, you are planting seeds that produce struggle, stress, and missed opportunities. Now, I want you to understand something else. This principle works consistently for everyone, no matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter if you are struggling with finances, relationships, health, or purpose. The moment you take authority over the first moments of your day, the spiritual realm responds. You are telling the universe, I am in alignment with divine order. I am not allowing chaos to dominate me. I am planting my words, my faith, and my declarations in the soil of heaven first, and everything else must follow. That's powerful. That is life-changing. And here's the beautiful part. It's simple to do. You don't need hours of preparation, complicated rituals, or extraordinary abilities. You just need to recognize the authority of the first moments of your day and speak life over them. Speak a psalm. Speak a declaration of victory. Speak favor and protection over yourself, your family, and your work. Speak words of peace and provision. Do it consistently and watch what happens. You'll notice doors opening that were previously closed. You'll notice situations shifting without human explanation. You'll notice favor showing up in your finances, your relationships, and your opportunities. So I challenge you, start first. First with God, first with life-giving words, first with declarations that align you with the blessings that are already yours, but waiting for you to position yourself to receive them. The power of first things first is not just a principle, it's a command. It's a spiritual reality. The first words you speak shape the entire day, shape your outcomes, and ultimately shape your destiny. Plant the seed first, speak the word first, command your day first, and watch the harvest of favor and breakthrough follow you every single day. I want you to hear this carefully because this is one of the most overlooked truths about life, success, and breakthrough. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every time you speak, you are either planting something that will grow for your benefit or something that will grow against you. And this is especially true when you start your day with a declaration, when you declare God's word, when you speak life over yourself, your family, your finances, and your purpose. You are not just talking. You are activating destiny. You are setting forces in motion that are beyond human comprehension. That's why so many people drift through life waiting for miracles. They don't realize that miracles respond to declarations. Listen carefully. Your destiny is not activated by wishful thinking, by hope alone, or by sitting around waiting for opportunities to knock. Your destiny is activated when you speak with authority. When you declare what God has promised, you are taking a position in faith and telling the spiritual realm that you are ready, that you are serious, that you are not passive. Declaration is action. Declaration is planting seeds in the soil of heaven. And just like a seed in the earth, if it is planted correctly, it will grow. But if it is neglected or if it is never planted, nothing will come of it. This is why speaking a psalm in the morning or declaring the word before anything else is so powerful. You are literally telling God, I am ready for the doors you have prepared. I am ready for the favor you are releasing. I am positioning myself to receive breakthrough, provision, and peace. It's not a matter of trying, it's a matter of aligning your actions with your words and your words with the promises of God. That alignment is what triggers destiny. That alignment is what opens doors that no human can open. That alignment is what shifts circumstances in your favor before anyone even notices. Most people underestimate the power of what they say. They think words are insignificant, that declarations are just motivational fluff, or that they have to wait for the right time. But let me tell you something, the right time is now. Your words are like commands in the spiritual realm. When you declare what aligns with God's word, you are speaking the language that heaven understands. And heaven responds to that language with favor, provision, opportunities, and supernatural intervention. That is why every great move of God begins with a declaration. Every promise fulfilled, every miracle, every breakthrough begins with someone speaking it first. You see, destiny is not passive. Destiny responds to those who take authority over their own lives. And one of the primary ways you take authority is through declaration. When you declare a psalm, when you declare God's word, you are planting seeds that will grow into tangible results. That seed might seem small at the moment. It might be just a few words you speak in the morning, but its impact is eternal. It will affect your finances, your relationships, your health, your peace, and your ability to walk in purpose. It will affect your ability to influence the world and leave a legacy. One small declaration can change the course of your life. Now understand something else. This is not about blindly speaking words and hoping for the best. Declaration must be coupled with belief. You must speak with faith. You must speak with expectation. If you speak without believing, your words are empty. But when you declare with faith, when you declare with authority, the universe, and more importantly, God, aligns with your words. That is how destiny is unlocked. That is how doors that seemed closed are suddenly open. That is how impossible situations begin to shift. And here's the beauty of it. You don't have to wait for a perfect situation to start declaring. You declare in the midst of challenges, in the middle of uncertainty, when the numbers don't look right, when the people around you don't believe. That is exactly when declaration is most powerful. Speaking God's word in those moments signals that you are aligned with heaven, that you are taking authority over what has not yet manifested. You are not reacting to the world. You are commanding it. You are planting seeds in faith, and those seeds will grow into your harvest. So let me challenge you today. Speak your destiny into existence. Don't wait for circumstances to tell you it's time. Don't wait for someone else to validate your move. Stand on God's promises and declare them. Speak life over your morning, over your work, over your finances, over your relationships, over your family, and over your purpose. Watch as the unseen forces of heaven respond. Watch as doors begin to open that were never open before. Watch as blessings, favor, and breakthroughs begin to align with your declarations. Your words are powerful. Your words are seeds. Your words unlock destiny. Speak them. Speak them first. Speak them with faith. Speak them with expectation, and watch what happens. I want you to understand something very important today, something that separates those who live in constant breakthrough from those who live in constant frustration. Faith is not passive. Faith is not just believing quietly or hoping things will get better. Faith is action. Faith is stepping into the unseen and moving with confidence because you know God is already at work on your behalf. You can read the word, you can memorize promises, you can even understand principles of success, but if you never act in faith, those things remain dormant. Faith activates the supernatural. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where God has called you to be. Many people say, I believe, but their actions say something entirely different. They wait for perfect timing. They wait for things to look right. They wait for circumstances to change before they step forward. And while they wait, life passes them by. But let me tell you a secret. Faith is not waiting. It is moving. Faith does not hesitate because it trusts the promises of God. Faith moves even when the path is unclear, even when the numbers don't add up, even when people don't understand. That is the difference between someone who experiences breakthrough and someone who experiences delay. When you speak a psalm first thing in the morning, when you declare God's word over your day, that is faith in action. You are not simply reciting words. You are putting your trust in the unseen and saying, I know what I cannot see yet, but I am confident it is coming. That is what faith looks like. That is what positions you to receive supernatural provision, favor, and protection. Every step you take in alignment with what God has promised multiplies your impact. Every declaration you make is a movement in the spiritual realm. Every decision you make that reflects trust in God is a seed planted in the soil of destiny. Now, let me tell you something else. Faith in action is not always easy. There will be times when your natural mind says, this doesn't make sense. There will be times when your emotions scream, I can't do this. There will be times when the world laughs at your steps of obedience. But that is precisely when you must act. That is precisely when faith must rise above sight, above feeling, above human reasoning. Because the natural world responds to what is seen, but the spiritual world responds to faith in action. Your breakthrough will always be on the other side of obedience. Your miracle will always be on the other side of faith applied, even when it doesn't look logical. Let's take a closer look at what that means in practical terms. If you are praying for provision, it is not enough to speak the words. You must act in faith in the opportunities God places before you. If you are speaking over your relationships, it is not enough to declare peace. You must act in ways that align with that peace, forgiving where necessary, giving where necessary, and loving when it is difficult. If you are declaring favor over your work or business, you must act on the doors God opens, even if they seem small or insignificant at first. Faith is never just verbal, it is practical. Faith is action, faith is movement. And here is where most people fail. They want the results of faith without the effort of faith. They want the blessing without the obedience. They want the harvest without planting the seed. But God's ways are consistent. Miracles respond to obedience. Supernatural provision responds to action. Favor responds to alignment. When you speak the word first thing in the morning, then walk it out with faith in your decisions, with faith in your work, and with faith in your attitude, you are positioning yourself for results that ordinary effort cannot produce. You are moving from a place of reaction to a place of authority. You are taking steps that communicate to heaven, I am ready, I am aligned, I will act, and I will receive. Faith in action also builds confidence. Every time you take a step that aligns with God's word, every time you declare his promises and then follow through with your actions, you are proving to yourself that his word is true. That proof strengthens your faith for the next challenge, the next opportunity, the next declaration. It creates momentum. It creates an expectation that breakthrough is not only possible, it is inevitable. Faith in action is cumulative. It grows stronger the more it is exercised. The more you act on what God has spoken, the more you see his faithfulness, and the more confident you become in your own authority to speak and walk in alignment with him. So today, I want you to commit to faith in action. Speak your declarations. Plant your seeds. Step boldly where God is leading. Take the first step before the path is perfectly clear. Walk forward even when it feels risky. Move in faith and watch how the supernatural begins to intersect with the natural. Watch how doors open, how opportunities multiply, and how favor finds you in places you never imagined. Faith is not waiting. Faith is action. Faith is moving, declaring, and believing when no one else can see the outcome yet. Your faith, when applied, will never return void. Every declaration you speak, every step you take in alignment with God's promises positions you for your breakthrough. Act in faith and watch the impossible begin to become possible. I want you to understand something right now, because this is the difference between people who talk about blessings and people who actually experience them. Breakthroughs don't just happen. They are not random. They are not about luck or chance. Breakthroughs are triggered by obedience. Every major shift, every open door, every supernatural provision follows obedience to God's word. And here's the reality most people miss. Obedience often doesn't make sense at first. It often goes against your natural understanding, your emotions, or the advice of others. But that is precisely where the power is. Obedience, especially when it is inconvenient or uncomfortable, positions you for what you cannot yet see. Think about it this way. God has already provided the pathway to your breakthrough. He has already set in motion the doors, the opportunities, and the favor you need. But most of those things require a response from you. The moment you choose to step into what God is asking you to do, the moment you align your actions with his word, the breakthrough begins to manifest. Obedience activates promises. It turns potential into reality. It moves what is hidden in the spiritual realm into your natural experience. That is why so many people pray for miracles and blessings, yet see little change. They are praying, but they are not obeying. Obedience is the bridge between faith and manifestation. You can have faith, you can speak declarations, you can believe God for the impossible. But if your actions don't align with what he has revealed, your breakthrough will be delayed. It's like a seed in the ground. You can water it, you can fertilize it, but if you don't plant it in the first place, nothing grows. Your obedience is that planting. It is the action that transforms potential into reality. It is the response that activates the supernatural. And here is what makes it even more powerful. Obedience often challenges your natural understanding. God might ask you to step into a relationship, a financial opportunity, or a decision that doesn't make sense on paper. He might ask you to give when it feels risky, to forgive when it feels undeserved, or to speak when it feels uncomfortable. That is the moment your breakthrough is being triggered. That is the moment your faith is tested. And that is the moment when obedience carries you beyond limitation. The greater the obedience, the greater the breakthrough. The larger the step of faith, the bigger the manifestation. Most people wait for perfect circumstances before obeying. They wait for the environment to look right. They wait for clarity. They wait for everyone to understand. But breakthroughs rarely wait for perfect timing. They are released in the moment you decide to act. In the moment you say, yes, I will align myself with God's word, even if I don't fully understand. That is why obedience is so critical. Obedience is the engine of the miraculous. It is the lever that moves the unseen into the seen. It is the spark that lights the fire of supernatural favor, provision, and success. Now, obedience is not always easy. It requires humility. It requires discipline. It requires trust that is bigger than your fear. But the reward is worth it. Every time you choose obedience, you position yourself for increase, for favor, for blessing, for growth. Every time you act in alignment with what God is telling you, you are signaling to the spiritual realm that you are serious, that you are ready, that you are aligned. That action is a magnet for breakthrough. That action is a declaration that your life will not be limited by circumstance or human reasoning. And here is the beauty of obedience. It also strengthens your faith. Every time you obey, every time you step forward in alignment with God's word, you see his faithfulness. You see doors open that seemed impossible. You see opportunities appear where there was none. You see relationships restored, finances multiplied, and peace released in situations that felt hopeless. Obedience creates a cycle. The more you obey, the more faith grows, the more blessings flow, the more confident you become in God's promises, and the more you are ready for the next step. So today, I want you to make a decision. Decide to obey first before you see results. Decide to act first before the path is completely clear. Decide to align your life with God's word in practical, consistent ways. Speak the declarations, take the steps, make the choices that put you in position for what God has already promised. Don't wait for circumstances to validate your obedience. Your breakthrough will validate it for you. Obedience is not passive. Obedience is not optional. It is the trigger for supernatural favor, for divine provision, and for every breakthrough you have been praying for. Your obedience is more powerful than your understanding. Your action is more powerful than your words alone. Your willingness to step into God's instructions, even when it challenges you, is the key that unlocks doors the world cannot close. Act in obedience and watch the breakthrough begin. I want you to hear this, because this is one of the most powerful truths you can apply to your life today. Supernatural favor is not random. It's not luck, coincidence, or something that happens to some people and not others. Favor is a result of alignment, a response to principles, a reflection of where your heart, your words, and your actions are positioned. The Bible tells us that the favor of God surrounds those who honor him, and it does so consistently, like a shield. When you understand this, you realize that favor is available to you every single day. It's not limited, and it's not selective. The question is whether you are walking in the alignment that invites it. Favor flows toward those who operate in faith, who speak life, who act in obedience, and who start their day by positioning themselves for the blessings of God. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what circumstances you face. Favor is a principle. It's a law of the spiritual realm, and it responds to those who understand how to activate it. That's why so many people pray for favor, yet they see little response. They don't understand that favor isn't random. It requires alignment. It requires consistency in faith, in action, and in obedience. It requires starting first with God, declaring His word over your life, and stepping into the opportunities He has already prepared. Let me explain this in a way that you can understand. Imagine someone walking through life hoping things will just work out for them. They may be good people, they may even pray, but they are not consistent. They are reactive, not proactive. They wait for blessings to find them instead of positioning themselves to receive them. That's why favor often seems elusive to them. Now compare that to someone who starts every day with intentionality, declaring God's word, acting on opportunities, walking in obedience, and speaking life over every area of their life. That person is not lucky. They are aligned. They are walking in the current of divine favor, and that favor responds by opening doors, creating opportunities, and orchestrating circumstances in ways that cannot be explained by human effort alone. Favor is not about chance, it's about choice. It's about the decisions you make to honor God with your words, your actions, and your priorities. It's about deciding to speak first, to declare first, to align yourself before the world tells you what's possible and what's not. Favor follows those who understand the law of the first things, the ones who begin with God and who act in accordance with His word. Every opportunity, every relationship, every breakthrough that flows in your direction is a response to alignment, a response to your faith in action, and a reward for obedience. And here is the most exciting part. Once you understand this principle, you can begin to predict and position yourself for favor. You can begin to step into your day with confidence, knowing that the moment you declare God's word, speak life over your circumstances, and act in alignment with His principles, favor is already moving toward you. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to wonder if it will show up. It is responding to your alignment. It is responding to your faith. It is responding to your obedience. That is powerful because it changes the way you approach life. It changes the way you approach opportunities, challenges, and even setbacks. Favor also amplifies your efforts. It multiplies the effectiveness of your words, your actions, and your decisions. It puts the right people, the right circumstances, and the right opportunities in your path. And the beautiful thing about favor is that it doesn't just benefit you, it benefits others around you as well. Favor allows you to influence, to inspire, to provide, and to create impact far beyond what you could accomplish on your own. That's why favor is supernatural. It is not limited by human understanding. It is not bound by logic or probability. It is the divine response to alignment with God's principles. Now, favor is available to everyone who chooses to walk in the alignment that attracts it. That means your words, your faith, your obedience, and your first moments of the day all matter. Every declaration you speak, every action you take in line with God's word, and every step of faith you walk in positions you for favor. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are not subject to randomness. You are responding to spiritual laws. And when you do, favor responds to you consistently and powerfully. So today, I challenge you to live intentionally. Speak first, act first, obey first. Align yourself with the principles that attract supernatural favor. Recognize that favor is not random, but it is available, it is consistent, and it is responsive to alignment. The moment you decide to operate in these truths, to position yourself and to move in faith and obedience, doors that once seemed closed will open, opportunities that once seemed impossible will appear, and your life will begin to flow in ways that are far beyond natural understanding. Favor is not a matter of luck, it is a matter of alignment. Position yourself correctly and watch how the supernatural moves on your behalf.